OU students join the Justice for Julius Jones movement. We are live with team coverage and new information out of Houston, the site of the Astroworld concert tragedy. Plus, Central Oklahoma in the bullseye for severe weather again this week. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for joining us on OU Nightly. I'm Libbey Dean.
And I'm Ben Thomas. We begin tonight with a rally to save a man's life. It is going on here on campus right now. It centers around death row inmate Julius Jones. Jones was an OU student in the late 1990s when he was arrested for murder, convicted, and sent to death row. OU Nightly's Kayla Davis is live outside Dale Hall where the rally just started.
Libbey, this is not the first march for Julius Jones, but the first march on this campus and the first march since the Pardon and Parole Board recommended he be granted clemency.
Set Julius free! Set Julius free!
They have marched, they have sung, they have prayed. Julius Jones has sat on death row since 1999. Found guilty for the murder of Paul Howell, a father of two from Edmond, Oklahoma. His family says the prosecutors got their man.
In that moment, I realized how misinformed some of these supporters are. Yes, I knew that most of the supporters didn't understand who they were advocating for.
Although many, including celebrities like Baker Mayfield and Kim Kardashian West, believe Jones is an innocent man.
Making a wrong right, and that's what we're here to do today, is to help in any way we can. And 22 years ago, a horrible crime happened. The wrong man has been paying for that crime.
Over the last month, each week brings a new hurdle for Jones towards freedom. First, Governor Kevin Stitt doesn't consider Jones's commutation and leaves the matter for his clemency hearing. Next, Jones and other death row inmates file for a stay of execution, citing the lethal injection as cruel and unusual punishment. The Oklahoma 10th Circuit of Appeals grants this, but the decision is vacated by the U.S. Supreme Court. Then, everyone hears from Jones for the first time in 22 years at his clemency hearing.
I am not the person responsible for taking Mr. Howell's life. I was not involved in the planning of this robbery. I was not present during this robbery, and I did not know that anyone had been killed until the day after Mr. Howell was murdered.
With a 3-1 vote, the Oklahoma Pardon and Parole Board recommends Jones clemency and life in prison with possibility of parole.
I want to thank the Pardon and Parole Board for continuing to see the human in Julius and seeing that there was a grave mistake made.
Everyone, the Howell family, the Jones family, celebrities, and OU students are awaiting the governor's decision. There's no word from the governor's office right now, and we're going to send you to Shannon Ehrhardt, who's a little bit closer to the supporters. Shannon, what's it like?
Yeah, hi you guys. I'm here at the Julius Jones protest march right here on campus. It's right outside of Dale Hall, where a bunch of students have gathered and are protesting the execution of Julius Jones. They will be marching all the way down to Evans Hall, which is on the other side of campus. But there are a lot of OU students here. The Black Emergency Response Team is also here, along with students from the Student Government Association. But you guys, they will be marching here in what seems to be about 5 to 10 seconds. But for now, I'm going to toss it back to Kayla, and we will give you more coverage later in the newscast. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Shannon. We're going to keep you guys updated later in the newscast as the march makes its way across campus. Libbey, Ben, back to you.
Thanks, Kayla. We'll check back in with Shannon and Kayla a little bit later in the newscast, but right now, let's get a check on weather.
Meteorologist Reece joins us with the first look at this week's forecast. Reece?
Libbey and Ben, we finally got to see some fall colors here on campus. We had cool temperatures last week that allowed for these colors to pop. I grabbed these photos on the way in to the studio today, and again, we're seeing some reds and even some browns out there. We're starting to see those nice fall colors, and a huge part of that was because we saw these temperatures at the beginning of November below average, even 20 degrees below average, but then they rebounded in the last weekend or so. We're above average right now, and this is going to allow for the potential to see some rain and even some severe weather heading into the middle of this week. Temperatures right now, though, mid-70s here and low 60 or upper 60s out there in the Panhandle. That's because they have a cold front, though. That cold front will be coming into the metro tomorrow and even into Wednesday. We'll see some rain chances increase, and we'll break down how cold we're going to be getting here in the next few days. Libbey and Ben.
Thanks, Reece. Tragedy struck at Travis Scott's Astroworld Festival in Houston over the weekend, resulting in at least 8 deaths. Several OU students made the trip to Houston for the concert, and OU Nightly's Dayton Deller has their first-hand accounts.
Minutes into the show, chaos. Over 50,000 in the crowd, among them 2 Oklahoma students.
The whole time, the concert felt like a cage, the exiting felt like a cage, it all felt like a cage. Not being able to breathe sent people to the hospital because it was just so frightening.
Sinek says concert goers were crushed and trampled. Lack of paramedics forced attendees like OU student Michael Bishop to perform CPR on others around him.
Because you felt like you had these people's lives in your hands. If I didn't do it right or do it in a timely fashion, they were going to die. They have friends and family that are watching me. I just felt like I had to step up and do something because who else was going to?
Many factors contributed to the madness, but he doesn't think there is one thing to blame, saying, quote, "It was a tragedy solely based on overcrowding." Bishop says under him, bodies getting trampled to death by the feet of those just trying to stay up. He feels blessed to be alive, as many weren't so lucky. Scott posted a statement to Twitter saying, quote, "I'm absolutely devastated by what took place. Lawsuits against Travis and concert organizer Live Nation have been filed as the cause of the surge remains under investigation." Dayton Deller, OU Nightly.
Travis Scott says he will be refunding all Astroworld tickets, and he will cover the funeral costs for those killed. He also plans to foot the bill for mental health counseling for anyone experiencing trauma after the event.
Actor Alec Baldwin is calling for a change to movie sets after he accidentally shot a woman on the movie set. Catherine Liberta has that story and the rest of today's headlines from around the world. Catherine.
Thanks, Libbey. The trial of Kyle Rittenhouse began today in Wisconsin. Rittenhouse, who is now 18 years old, killed 2 men and injured another during a protest in Kenosha, Wisconsin last year. The teenager is being charged with felony homicide, felony attempted homicide, and possession of a dangerous weapon as a minor. Last week, Judge Bruce Schroeder said the 3 men Rittenhouse shot can be referred to by attorneys as rioters and looters, but not as victims. The defense is claiming Rittenhouse acted in self-defense. And actor Alec Baldwin is calling for film sets to hire police officers after the actor shot and killed a director with a prop gun last month. In a tweet earlier today, Baldwin wrote that every film and TV set using guns should hire officers to specifically monitor weapon safety. Last month's incident is still under investigation and has sparked conversations about weapon usage on sets. Authorities are looking into the weapon's chain of command and how the gun used by Baldwin became loaded with a suspected live round. And the Biden administration is planning on waiving immigration fees for almost 70,000 Afghanistan evacuees. The Department of Homeland Security announced today that it would waive evacuees' application fees to get authorization to work or apply for lawful permanent residence. Last month, a group of Democratic senators urged Homeland Security that the burden of the fees were weighing heavily on evacuees. Evacuees who were paroled into the U.S. on or after July 30th are eligible for fee exemptions. And Libbey and Ben, the first British Airways plane carrying non-essential vaccinated passengers, arrived in JFK Airport today. Many European airlines reported full or nearly full flights today, marking the end of a 20-month travel ban. Back to you.
Over in Ukraine, law enforcement seized billions of dollars in ransom payments. The suspect affected multiple global companies, scamming them out of millions of dollars.
Plus, with vaccinated international travelers being allowed into the U.S., the travel industry is seeking a surge in bookings. Stay tuned on how that will affect holiday travel. We want to head back to the South Oval now, where OU students have joined in with the Justice for Julius group. OU Nightly's Shannon Ehrhardt is there live.
Okay. Hey, you guys, this is the Justice for Julius march down the South Oval. They just got going. They're on the way to Evans Hall right now, doing chants. Just let you take a listen here.
How are we gonna get it? People power. Tell me what you want. Justice. People power. Justice. People power. Justice. People power.
They are about a fourth of the way there to Evans Hall.
People power.
But lots of people here, you guys.
People power. Justice. Julius is free. 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 Julius. 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 Justice. People power. Justice.
Thanks, Shannon. We will be back with a look at weather.
And some of your favorite snacks may be costing you more money this year.
From
We're keeping an eye on the Justice for Julius Jones rally right now, but we're going to go to weather really quick.
Taking a live look at the Oklahoma City skyline cam, daylight saving time has ended. We have our sunset coming in just about 45 minutes now. That's why we're already starting to see a little bit of colors out there along those high wispy clouds. But overall, we've had a beautiful day here. We do have this light south wind, a little bit actually breezy, 16 miles per hour. And you can see across most of the areas 10 to 15 miles per hour out of the south. But there is a cold front up along the panhandle, and we're seeing northerly winds and a lot cooler temperatures. You can see the 24-hour temperature change. When just a few degrees warmer out in the eastern portions, but in the western portion, 10 to even 20 degrees cooler than what we were yesterday as that cold front makes its way through. Now that's going to make its way into the metro here tonight. You can time this out. It's going to come right on parallel to I-44, just around Norman, and then it's going to start to push off. And then we're going to have a warm front push through Wednesday morning, and that's going to allow for some moisture into the area, for a cold front to come through, bringing us chances for precipitation, potentially severe weather, and then a much cooler air mass making its way through into our region by the end of this week and into this weekend. It's going to be a lovely couple of days, though. Just some passing clouds tonight. We do have a chance for some drizzle here tomorrow morning. Just keep an eye on that, but nothing too heavy, just a few light sprinkles. And then into Wednesday, that's when the clouds begin to build in. We are going to see this line of showers and storms pop up about noon, and then a second round will build in the evening hours at about 8 p.m. That's going to push its way into the metro about 8 p.m. again, and that should move off by 9 to 10 p.m. We should be clearing out. That rain, though, does have a chance for some potential to be severe, some damaging winds, and potentially quarter-sized hail as well. For the timing of this, though, 70% chance for most of the area, but it will be forming along the western portions of the state. That's why it's 30% in the Panhandle and those border counties of the Texas Panhandle, as well as 50% in those few counties just east of the Oklahoma border. As for tonight, though, we are going to have increasing clouds again. Those south winds, temperatures just mild, though, only going to be dropping off into the low 50s overnight here in the metro area. Very comfortable overnight. You can see temperatures here in the central portions of the state in the upper 50s. Out in the Panhandle, though, as that cold front starts to push through, 40s and even 30s out in Guyman. Our normal right now is 40 degrees, so that's quite mild. And for our highs tomorrow, you can see 70s here in Muskogee, 60s out across in the Panhandle as well. Normal, though, 64 degrees, so another mild day. Wednesday, though, is when we're going to start start to see that change in our 7-day forecast when that rain chance builds in. We're going to see high temperatures Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend only in the 60s and upper 50s. Those lows dipping down into the 30s. We still haven't seen our first freeze here in Norman yet. We do have a potential for that Friday night into Saturday morning, but we'll be timing that out here at OU Nightly, as well as the severe weather potential tomorrow as well. Libby and Ben?
Well, hopefully we don't see any of that rain, Reece. I don't know if I want some more of that around.
No, I'm definitely good with the rain. Please keep the sunshine around. I'm definitely enjoying it.
Well, we're going to go back to the South Oval where they're marching towards the library for Julius Jones. We'll go to you, Shannon, right now.
Hey, you guys. So the Justice for Julius protest just made their final destination here at Evans Hall, where we are listening to Brandon Kirkpatrick talk. He's a lifelong resident here in Oklahoma and a stander for Justice for Julius Jones. Lots of people here. Lots of people here right now.
As you guys know,
They'll be speaking a little bit here in the final spot.
But he was a 19-year-old man that was going to OU here.
Thanks, guys.
Turned 19. Actually, he was just 4 days after he turned 19. Whenever he was.
We will be right back with more.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Velde, and it's time for sports. The Sooners will be back on the gridiron this Saturday in Waco, facing Baylor at 11 a.m. The Bears lost a close upset on Saturday at TCU, 30-28. Baylor now holds a record of 7-2 as the undefeated Sooners begin championship November. Head coach Lincoln Riley believes his team is here to peak at the right time.
You know, winning first 9 and all that's great, but I mean, they're going to, you know, this team will be remembered based on what it does here in the next couple of months. And so hopefully you feel like things are starting to align for us to play our best ball, and feel like we got the right group to do it. So yeah, I'm excited to watch us prepare and watch us really surge, because I do think we have it inside of us.
After exhibition games last week, the OU men's and women's basketball teams begin regular season play tomorrow night. Kenzie Iserman has a look at the men's team as it prepares for Northwestern State at Lloyd Noble.
New Sooners head coach Porter Moser takes on a team with only 4 returning players from last year's squad. He scored some big talent in the transfer portal, and ever since then, it has been practice, practice, practice.
Everybody is just at that point where we're just really, we all feel like we're not ready, because as coaches, you always feel like you're not ready for your first game, but we are mentally ready, because we just want to start competing and getting better, because you learn a lot from your team. When you start going through the real games, you start learning a lot. So we're at that mode as well.
Even the freshmen, you can see how much they've matured since they first got here in June. It's crazy to see their development and how they've gotten better on the court. But also off the court, we're getting closer and closer.
I think we've been going at it for about five months, and like I said earlier, I really like the strides and the progress that we've made so far.
We'll all get to see those strides in a game that counts tomorrow night at the LNC. Tip-off is at 7. Kenzie Iserman, OU Nightly Sports.
Libby, Ben, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Ashley. Straight ahead on OU Nightly, we'll have one more look at the Julius Jones March.
Stay tuned for more information as we keep you updated on the march.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. We're going to take one last look at the Julius Jones March on campus. Kayla Davis joins us with that last update. Kayla?
We're here at Evans Hall, and the Julius Jones supporters marched across campus and are now listening to speakers from the Black Emergency Response Team and the Student Government Association, as well as the Justice for Julius group, as a call to action for them to write letters, send emails, all to the governor's office for him to grant clemency for Julius Jones before his November 18th execution date. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Kayla. The same type of rally is going on right now at Oklahoma State University.
We just got video from that rally going on right now in Stillwater, and the crowd is about the same size. It is organized by the Justice for Julius group and the Oklahoma State Student Association. Again, the fate of Julius Jones lies in the hands of Governor Kevin Stitt. His execution date is currently set for November 18th.
And Reece is going to give us one last look at the weather.
Yeah, the next week ahead looks pretty nice. We do have a chance of drizzle tomorrow morning, 71 degrees on Tuesday, 69 on Wednesday before a cold front brings us chances for rain and some potentially strong to severe storms. But then we cool off and clear out into the rest of the weekend. 55 for a high on Friday before we rebound into the upper 50s and 60s starting next week.
Thanks for tuning in to OU Nightly. We're live every weekday from Gaylord Hall on the campus of the University of Oklahoma.
We'll see you back here tomorrow night live at 4:30. Good night. And look at the rally.